Welcome to World Energy Television. I'm Richard Loomis, and today we have the privilege of speaking with Neville Henry, Chief Exploration Officer of Buccaneer Resources. Neville, thank you very much for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me here today, and it's great to be able to talk to you about what we're doing at Buccaneer.
Well, I've heard a lot about the Pompano project.
I believe the initial discovery well on the Pompano field goes back to the 1960s even.
Really?
And what we found is that it's produced at different times, but the last period of production was from during the 90s through the late 90s. Mm-hmm. Of course, the oil prices were not as approaching the levels they are today, and the operators at that time decided to to let those wells produce out and didn't go ahead any further.
Well, if they had walked away from it, what did you see there?
Well, since those wells were drilled, obviously, there was, we put 3D seismics through a lot of this shallow area of the Gulf, and there was 3D coverage over the Pompano area.
They didn't have that back in the 90s?
They hadn't used it as part of their exploration tools at that point in time. And there were some problems with those early 3D seismic problems with the navigation, and so really all that wasn't sorted out until a year or two ago.
Really?
And we got new navigation for the 3D. We were able to get the seismic mapping re-looked at by a group at NewTek, and they found that the new interpretation that we'd put together, the fault block model, tied very, very well with the well results up to that point. So we knew we had a strong geological model.
So when you were able to see the new 3D seismic and then able to apply the tools that NewTek has, you got a pretty good picture of what Pompano was supposed to be.
Yes, we did, and I think we saw that there were considerable reserves yet to be discovered or yet to be produced. In some cases, we've taken a fairly simple approach, and the first couple of wells have targeted the existing reservoirs that we know something about. We had down dip control, so these reservoirs are called proved undeveloped. Mm-hmm. And the first two wells have targeted those, and in fact the third well will target that. Mm-hmm. So they're very low risk reserves. They are obviously doing very well. They've been producing now for a few months and at very high rates, and giving the company substantial cash flow. In fact, we've got 6 wells, potentially 6 wells yet to go. Mm-hmm.
And these wells are what they call stacked pay, correct?
Well, yes, in some sense. They have, we have 5 or 6 pays, potential pays. Some have a higher chance of success than others. The best ones to date have been the 6700, the B sand, and the E sand. Mm-hmm. So we've had good production results from those.
And Buccaneer doesn't stop with Pompano.
No, and I think that's a really important point. While we were doing all this, during this period, we recognized the need actually to expand Pompano, so we moved on to redfish, and we acquired some new acreage right adjacent to Pompano that have got a couple of prospects in them with the same series of sands in them. We feel that they have good potential for follow-on with Pompano, which would expand our drilling program in the Pompano area.
Do you have the seismic over that area as well?
We have 3D. We have to purchase extend the 3D program that we have currently purchased, and that's a spec program. So we have funds now to go ahead and purchase that, incorporate that with our interpretation. In fact, that has already happened, and our geophysicist, or the geophysicist working on the project, has generated some prospects based on that on that new seismic already, with well control. So we feel confident that we're going to have an increase in the prospectivity of the region.
So you like what you see?
Love what we see.
And what about other projects?
We're able to bid on a very exciting block. It's at we call the Jaguar prospect, and we've identified 2 immediate PUD locations on that. We have the facilities in place. It's something that we can drill a well with in very short time, and again, much like Pompano, put it on production almost immediately. We we're not as aggressive as far as the production rates as we're seeing from Pompano, but we're probably, in the 3 to 5 million cubic feet range would be what we would expect to be coming out of that.
So we've got Pompano, we got Jaguar, now we have Cougar.
Yes.
Tell me about Cougar.
Cougar is primarily oil, and
How deep is it?
We've got approved. It's very shallow. It's 4,000 feet on the proved reservoir. It was drilled by Anadarko in 1999. It's well defined by seismic, 3D seismic, and the amplitude. And we've been given an estimate of the proved reserves associated with that around 600,000 barrels. We have multiple pays below that, from 4,000 to 6,000 feet, which we would, on success of the first well, we would drill a second well for. And the gross project has probably got somewhere between 15 and 20 million barrels of unrisked resources. Again, a very exciting play for the company.
So you like this project?
I really like this project.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, in your past, you've worked on some pretty big projects and some pretty complicated ones. Are these projects challenging?
A lot of people would say these are small projects. And we would look at them from a different perspective. If I had a 200 BCF field and I had a well in it, people would be looking at me pretty interested in what I was doing and how I was going about it. We're looking at more of an aggregation of projects of, let's just say on an individual well basis, 10 BCF, 15 BCF. Yes, they might sound small, but if I can show you 10 of those, that's 200 BCF with well control, with new 3D seismic. And to some extent I'm a bit more diversified, so I'm spreading my risk over a variety of opportunities. So I'm not just hanging it all on one hat.
Have you seen these kind of opportunities before?
I've been in the industry 35 years now almost, and these opportunities have been there. Obviously the oil and gas price is helping get those into a level of economics and value that hasn't been seen before. The Buccaneer's taken advantage of moving into that position, because when we started this, oil gas prices were around 6 and oil prices were 70 or 60 or 70. Fortuitous, maybe, but I think we were looking at what we thought the resource situation was looking like around the world, and we felt this was a good opportunity to build a company, and we might have an opportunity to take some value from the current prices.
Neville, thank you very much. This has been fascinating.
Appreciate it, and we'll hope to see you back here and be back here in a few months and telling you about the next one.